Um, all right, so for today's class, International Yoga Day, Summer Solstice, we are celebrating the light. We just had the longest day of the year for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere. And yeah, it's one of my favorite days of the year, really, because we are now officially in summer. And even though it's hot as can be and humid and all those things, I feel so grateful and blessed every day when I walk out that it's sunny and it's warm and it's not winter right now. It's not December. So it's really, I love this time of year, even with the heat, but I love all the fresh fruits and the vegetables. And it's just such an exciting time of year for me personally. I know some people don't feel the same way about summer, but it's also filled with activity. And that activity can be really fun, but it can also be very, very tiring. And with the heat and the summer season, and we are now like full on in Pitta season, so that's our energy of fire and water. We need to like think about cooling the fire a little bit this time of year because like aggravates like increases like, right? So when it's really hot outside and then you are doing activities that heat you, it's going to cause an overload of fire. I love that everybody's saying hi to each other and sending kisses. Love it, love it. So we want to make sure our yoga practice is complementary to cooling the fire. So you can do certain practices. I actually have a video on YouTube that's I don't know, maybe 2 years old now. Maybe it's only a year old, but it's my most watched video and it's a short yin practice. I don't really teach yin a lot, but I think that speaks to a lot of people this time of year for the summer solstice. So today's class is going to be bringing it down a notch. We'll do a little bit of movement and flow to settle the mind, get the body moving, get the energy moving, and then we're going to like slow it down. We're going to do some stretches, some cooling poses. Well, we've got a cooling breath for today. So as always, though, of course, take it at your own pace. If you need more cooling or you need more movement today, vary the practice as you need to. My leadership is just a suggestion today. I wanted to let you guys know, oh, it's the 10th International Yoga Day. If you didn't know that was a thing, it is a thing. And the idea is really to celebrate and bring people together around the world. So it's a beautiful practice that they started a little while ago. So let me read this. This year's theme, which is today, is Yoga for Self and Society. I'm going to read this really short paragraph from UN.org. Yoga, a transformative practice, represents the harmony of mind and body, the balance between thought and action, and the unity of restraint and fulfillment. It integrates the body, mind, spirit, and soul, offering a holistic approach to health and well-being that brings peace to our hectic lives. Its power to transform is what we celebrate on this special day. I really love that paragraph, and I think that's just such a beautiful sentiment and a wonderful theme. So for today, it's this idea of self-care, but coming together as a community. So all these things are coming together and celebrating the power of yoga to transform our minds, our bodies, our souls, our spirits, and up level us to the next dimension, or however you want to say it. Oh, thank you, Mika, for your donation. I appreciate that. My eyes are watering today, so please forgive me as I sit here and wipe them away. All right, we are going to get started. Let's see. How do we want to get started today? Let's get started in a simple seat, either cross-legged or thunderbolt pose, just sitting back on your heels, or you can even use a block for supported heroes, okay? So something that's comfortable for you to come into your breath. And I'm going to stay up here for just a moment, and I'm going to get my last little sip. So if you want to grab any props, they are not necessary. I just put my blocks up front. Sometimes it's just nice to have them on hand if you need them, but I don't think there's anything in particular you will need a block for unless you know you need them for modifications. Summer solstice. It is our time it's our gateway really to the rest of the year. It's our time to honor the sun in all its glory and acknowledge the light not only of the sun, but the light within ourselves, our internal suns. So as I mentioned, we want to slow down and surrender a little bit in our practice. So I invite that intention in for you today if that's not speaking to you. And it's also the full moon today, by the way. But if that's not speaking to you and there's something else that feels like it's calling to you, I invite you to bring that in. And let's just take a moment, let the eyes close, soften the face, relax your jaw, and just begin to notice your breath. Notice how you're feeling in your body. Notice the quality of your breath today. And then notice if there's agitation, especially in the mind. Not beating yourself up for having that agitation, not judging it, but just drawing awareness there. And setting the intention that your practice is one of healing, one of transformation. And if something else, of course, is speaking to you, bring that in. But knowing that the simple practice of yoga, whether it's movement, whether it's meditation, whether it's breath work, and these are all parts of yoga, that all of these together holistically can transform our mind, body, soul, spirit. Continuing to focus on your breath for a few more rounds. And we're going to begin some cooling breath work now. So we're going to do a Shitali breath, which is breathing in over the tongue. So if you can curl your tongue, you'll stick your tongue out and breathe in. And if the tongue doesn't curl, kind of make a U shape with it, that's fine. And then you'll close your mouth and breathe out your nose. Long, slow exhale. Breathing in over the tongue. All the way to the top, belly's expanding, chest is expanding. Close the mouth, breathe slowly out the nose. Think about lengthening your exhales a little bit more than usual. So maybe you inhale for 4, closing the mouth, exhale out the nose for 6. Little pause between. Feeling this cooling, calming effect of your breath. Keep going. Let's do a few more rounds. Noticing the transformation of your breath. One more round. Now let the breath flow in and out of your nose naturally. Notice the shift in how your body feels. You might actually feel a little bit cooler. Notice if the brain has cooled and calmed slightly. Notice the flow of air through your sinuses. And as you're ready, blink your eyes open. Let's make our way to a tabletop pose. And as you set up for tabletop, if you need cushion under the knees, by all means, grab a blanket, place it under the knees. We're starting very simply today. Your toes maybe can be tucked if you'd like to add a little stretch through the soles of your feet. And just moving into our cat-cow, so letting your belly lower as you breathe in, lifting your heart. And exhale, rounding through the spine, chin to chest. And beginning to move with your breath. Your pace might be a little slower, might be a little quicker. I encourage you to try and really feel into your body. So often I bring in the heat, right? We start moving pretty quick through our cat-cows. Maybe today you actually slow it down. So with all this activity of the summer, it's really easy to overdo it. And I can tell you, I really overdid it last weekend. My sister and niece and nephew were in town. We had a lot of fun, but it was nonstop, and it was only 4 days. But I can tell you, I feel like I need about 2 weeks to recover. I am not recovered, trying to get back to my normal routine and my things I have scheduled. And so taking this time in your yoga practice to slow it down. Let's do one more round here. And then come back to neutral spine. Send your hips towards your heels. Toes tucked. If they're not tucked, go ahead and tuck them. And you can stay supported. You might even walk the hands back. And you might need to bring the toes a little closer together. Spread the toes out on your mat. We're going to take a nice toe stretch here. If you want to come all the way up, hands on thighs, you may. If that's too much, just stay down here, all right? We don't need to force anything, or you can move in and out of this pose. You can also place a block or something or a blanket underneath your seat, and that'll help to alleviate some of the pressure. But just notice how that feels on the bottoms of your feet. Give your feet a little love. They're probably getting used a lot more than usual right now. Just moving around, going places, doing things. It's such a great time to get outside and walk. I know I've been doing a lot of that lately. Let's take one more breath, maybe a couple of wrist circles in the meantime, in both directions. Inhale. And exhale, come back to your table, untuck the toes, give them a little flutter. That should feel so nice. And then begin to walk your hands forward, coming to our puppy pose. If you want to intensify the stretch and you happen to have blocks, I love blocks under the hands for this pose. The head will be hanging out probably if you have blocks. So your head doesn't have to touch the ground if you're taking this more extended active version. If this feels like too much, just move them out of the way, hands to the corners of your mat. Keep a little activation in the fingertips so we're not totally lazy and my elbows are lifted, my seat is high. If you're very open, you can even bring your chin to the mat, which doesn't ever feel good for me. So I just bring my forehead down. One more breath. Nice big stretch. Let it go. Sigh it out. Look forward. As you inhale, walk yourself back up. Let's round through the spine. Send your hips to your heels for child's. Knees can be parallel. They can be wide. If you want to even stack your hands on your forehead and relax the arms for a moment, that might just feel really nice. We're just beginning to release tension and energy. So we're definitely going to have a more gentle practice today. We will get things moving, a little bit of sun salutations, I promise, but it's not going to be super intense. As great as the physical practice of yoga is, we tend to, in general, push ourselves maybe a little more than we really should in the moment. And especially this time of year, we want to soothe our nervous systems a little bit more and be mindful of how we're feeling in our body. So just doing check-ins with yourself physically. Let's lift the gaze on your next inhale. Crawl yourself back to tabletop. Plant your palms a little bit forward of the shoulders. Tuck your toes and send your hips high for a bent knee down dog. Long in your spine. Really pressing into your fingertips and let your elbows spin forward. So this rotation of the elbows towards the top of the mat. And then really pressing into the fingertips, maybe taking a little twist, bending into your left knee, press your right heel, gaze under your right armpit. And there's actually a nice little trick. If you bring your toes kind of out to an angle, heel and foot can lower as you take this stretch. And then come back to center, back up onto the balls of the feet. Let your left foot lower, toes come out to the side a little bit. Bend your right knee, nice deep stretch through the left side. And let's come back to center, balls of the feet come up high. And then bend the knees, get long, and the spine sits, bones lift. One more breath. Inhale, roll forward to a plank. Lower the knees down, lower chest and chin in this little caterpillar shape. And then untuck the toes, lower onto your belly. Let's come up to Sphinx pose. Bringing your forearms to the mat. And I like to bring my elbows just slightly in front of my shoulders. That feels more comfortable for me. So find where that works. If the elbows are behind the shoulders, bring them forward a little bit, at least be underneath. Press the finger pads down and then pull your forearms and elbows back towards your body. Lift your heart. You should have that nice deep stretch in the front of your abdominal wall. So we're not moving as much in this class, but we're still finding a little intensity in our poses. One more breath. So good. Exhale, relax down, relax the head. Bring your palms under your shoulders. Press up into your tabletop. Round through your spine. Tuck your toes, hips to heels for just a moment, like this sort of puppy pose here. And then let's come back to down dog. We're going to move a little bit now through our sun salutations. So gaze forward, bend through the knees. As you exhale, bring the feet up to the top of the mat. You can stroll, you can step, you can even hop. Inhale, lengthens through your spine, and exhale, fold down. Relax your head. If you want to take a little measurement, feet are hip width distance, so 2 fists right between the arches of your feet. Inhale, rising up now to high mountain pose, flat back, palms meet above, a little baby back bend. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a little mini flow sequence through our sun salutations. Inhale, lifting the arms up. Exhale, taking Kali Mudra, so extending your index fingers. The rest of your fingers are interlaced. And then a little crescent to your right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, crescent to the left. Inhale to center, baby back bend. Exhale, let's take a swan dive now. Forward fold all the way down, bend the knees. Inhale, come up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, rise up to high mountain. And exhale, hands to heart center. Release the fingertips, lift the arms. A little crescent to your right with Kali Mudra. So repeating that sequence. Inhale to center. And exhale to left. Inhale, center. Baby back bend. Exhale, release the hands. Swan dive all the way down. We're going to add on now. Inhale, come up halfway and lengthen. And exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step your left foot back. We're coming to a runner's lunge. If you like your blocks here for a little support, this is a great spot for blocks. It actually gets deeper into the left hip crease. So often we think, oh, I don't need the blocks. I don't need that. My fingers can reach the ground. But the blocks can actually benefit the pose quite a bit. And just take a moment to lift your heart now. Look forward. And begin to straighten your front leg, coming to this wide leg, sort of modified pyramid. We'll take a little lunge back and forth. Inhale into the right knee. Exhale, straighten the right leg. Inhale, forward. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, come forward. Last time. Exhale, straighten the front leg. Inhale, forward to a lunge. We're going to take this into a twist. You can keep your block under your left hand on the low level if you like, or just bring your left hand to the mat. Right fingertips to the sky. And if this is too much, lower the back knee down. So if this is too much heat we're building, modify, adjust. See how you feel today. So nice. Inhale, let's release, come back to center. We're going to come up on the fingertips and get a little strong now as we rise up to high crescent. Ooh. Take your time. Feel your core engage. If you want to bend your back knee, that's a nice way to start this pose. Just gives a little bit of relief. Inhale, lift the arms up. And if you're feeling off balance, just heel toe your right foot over a little bit. Let's take a little twist, hands to heart center, and spin to your right. Maybe the back leg extends, arms extend. Really opening through the outer hip. So nice. And then slowly release the hands down to frame your front foot. Lower your back knee to the mat. Come on up, hands to your right thigh. We're setting up for low crescent now. And then lunge in a little bit deeper. Press into the top of your left foot. Really feel that engagement. Draw your right hip back. Option to bring the arms up or even interlace behind your head, open through your chest. Most of us, we need to bring that energy in. Most of us, it's morning or afternoon, right? Great time to just feel into the body. Bring that energy through the chest. Bring the light in. And release the arms up. Bring your hands down to frame your front foot. Let's walk the hands back, straighten through your right leg. And then point and flex your right toes a few times. I love these little pulsations when my body is stiff. So I invite them in all the time in my practice. So good. And let's bend through the right knee. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and step back to downward dog. If you want to add a vinyasa, we'll take a modified version, but you can take your version. Or you can just hang in down dog. Inhale, let's shift forward to our plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, chin. Lower to your belly. Let's come up to locust pose. So fingertips behind, roll the shoulders open, palms flip down. Inhale, lift your heart, open through your chest. And exhale, lower down, press into your hands, get nice and strong in your core. Press up. I'm coming to modified plank today. You can take full plank. And then round through the spine, tuck the toes, hips to heels for a breath. Beautiful. Let's come back to our dog. We're going to take that same sequence on the other side, but we'll just step the left foot up this time. Coming to our low lunge, and again, if you'd like your blocks, grab your blocks. Just feel into that right hip a little bit. Nice and strong through the back leg. If this is too much, you can always lower the back knee, but I invite you to stay here as we kind of pulse in and out. And again, too much, you just take this version pulsing on the knee and straightening the front leg, all right? So let's begin. Straighten through your left leg. It's a wide pyramid pose. And as you inhale, lunge in, lift your heart. Feel the nice deep stretch on your right hip flexor. Exhale, straighten the left leg. Inhale, lunge in. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, lunge. Last time, we're going to straighten on the exhale. And then come back to our lunge. Taking that revolve twist, you can keep your right hand on the block or just plant it inside your right foot. And then we'll spin to your left fingertips come up. My back knee is lifted. If you want to modify and bring it down, go for it. Just see how you're feeling today in your body. So although we are moving the energy a little bit, we don't want to build all that excess heat. We don't want to be massively sweating today. So good. Exhale, lower your left hand down. I'm going to bring my right foot up just a little bit and get nice and strong in my core. And then as you inhale, rise up, high crescent. And you can always bend the back knee a little bit. Extend the arms up. And if it feels good, straighten the back knee. But for me, first thing in the morning, this is not good. So I always bend the back knee. So nice. And we're going to come to that simple twist now. So release hands to heart center. Begin to twist to your left. Arms extend out. Maybe the gaze comes back over your back thumb. If not, no worries. And you can bend that back knee a little bit for balance. So good. This is a hard one. One more breath. And then release. Come back to center. Let's lower the back knee down. Bring your hands down first. Lower your back knee. Untuck toes. And then come on up, hands to your left thigh. Setting up for our low crescent now. Pressing into the top of your right foot, lift your heart. Maybe the arms lift. Feel that nice stretch on your front hip flexor of the right side. And then option to interlace hands, maybe the opposite way, the funky way. Bring them behind your head and keep opening through your chest. Elbows come wide. You can always bring your left foot over a little for stability. Another breath. Beautiful. Release the fingertips up. Let's release hands down. We'll straighten through the left leg, hugging your left hip back, and then point and flex the left toes. And then bending back into the left knee. Let's bring your hand inside the left foot and then bring your left knee all the way around to tabletop this time. And just take that little cat-cow between sides. And coming to a neutral spine. You can either take puppy pose again or send your hips high once again for down dog. Just take a moment now in your dog to do that lovely pedal, that little dance, that walk out. Let the breath go out your mouth. Feel all that steam release from the body. We want to balance some of these stronger postures with this cooling, soothing postures. Come forward to your high plank. We're going to lower knees, chest, and chin once again. Lower to your belly, untuck your toes. This time we're coming to locust, but I'm going to invite in the bind if you'd like to take that, bringing hands behind your low back. Roll your shoulders onto your back first before coming up. Maybe the palms get squeezed together. Maybe that doesn't work for you and you just want to take palms down towards the ground. That's fine. As you inhale, lift your chest, lift your toes, get nice and strong in your cobra. Gaze forward, and then if you feel like your neck's cranking like mine is, let the gaze come down a little bit to just lengthen the back of your neck slightly. Another breath here. And then exhale, release. Place one cheek to the mat. Pause. Feel the breath slow. And we're going to take this one more round, last round of a back bend. Bring your gaze back to center. So you have two options in locust, we just did. If you want to take upward bow, go ahead and bend your knees, grab your ankles or feet, and then first roll your shoulders onto your back before you ever come up. Knees are about hip width distance. And then to come up, just press your feet into your hands and lift your heart. So the legs are kind of doing the work here. This is too much. This is pretty intense. Take a locust. You can even take a sphinx pose again. Just another breath. One more breath in and out. And then release. Place your other cheek to the mat and pause. Good. Bring your gaze back to center. Bring your palms under your shoulders. We're going to press back to plank. You can take supported, or if you want to get really strong, tuck your toes, feel your core engage, and press straight up. And then we'll come back to down dog for just a breath. Just a little bit more standing poses, not a lot. Let's step forward now to forward fold Uttanasana. Relax the head down. Shake it out, let it go, let the fingertips dangle, sway side to side. You might grab elbows, you can bend your knees a little. Let it go out the mouth, side out. Bending the knees now. We're going to make our way to chair pose. So I've got a kind of wider chair today. It's up to you if you want to bring toes together, hands to heart center to start. So let's just start lengthening the tailbone down. Navel pulling in, feel the chest open, palms are pressing together. If the weight is forward, can you bring it back a little bit? Make it a little more evenly distributed. You might even give your toes a wiggle. One more breath. And then let's stand, release the arms down, pause in your Tadasana. Notice how you're feeling. Notice the energy as it's moving now. Might feel the heart rate a little bit increased. Let that slow for a moment. So nice. All right, we're going to just come to a tree today. If you feel a little more advanced and you want to take hand to big toe pose and then bring it out to the side, like that, you can see my knee is bent. Optional, right? If you want to come to tree with me, we're just going to start with grounding through the left foot. So if you're coming to hand to big toe, you can kind of fall long and then just adjust. If you have a strap and want to use that, by all means. We're going to lift your right knee up. Bring your right knee out to the side. So you can just support with your hand. And then we'll bring that right foot above the left knee. If you're like, that is so not happening, just bring the right foot to the calf, all right? So it doesn't really matter where you're at today. Look, I'm even wobbling and falling out a little bit. Draw your left hip in and instantly that'll feel a little more stabilized. Feel your core pull in. If you're in hand bit to big toe, you're going to grab the big toe and bring the arm out to the side. We've got a few breaths here to play. So find your balance first. If you're feeling like I am falling over right now, then adjust. Don't take the arms up. If you feel pretty good, or if you can cheat like me, I have a really low ceiling here. You can bring the fingertips and use that as a little bit of support. Let's take another breath. If the arms are lifted, bring them back down. If you're in hand to big toe pose, we're all going to release together. So release the right foot, bring the right knee forward, and then step the right foot down, release the hands, give it a little wiggle out, shake it out. We're going to do the same thing for the other side. So we'll ground through your right leg this time. Bring your right hip in, feel that strength, and a little bend in the right knee can even help. We'll all bring our left knee up, use your hand to support. And then you can bring the left knee out to the side. If you're in your hand to big toe, you're going to start here and we'll extend out, okay? Up to you, where you want to go today. And then if you're in this pose, perhaps you bring the left foot above the right knee, like I'm just falling straight out today. I'm going to cheat and use my wall, which is never really a bad thing, right? It just helps us gain our balance. And then draw the right hip in, left knee is pressing back, and then the foot and the standing leg are pressing together. Finding your drishti, something to look at that's not moving. Perhaps the arms begin to float up. Give yourself a smile, 2 more breaths wherever you're at. If you're not feeling balanced today like me, no worries. Remember, you can bring the foot down to the calf. It just happens some days, right? No sense of beating ourselves up. Some days we've got it. Some days we're like, oh, it's not happening today. Now let's release the hands down. Bring the left knee forward, lift it up, and then press your left foot down on the ground. Release the arms down. Pause in your Tadasana. Notice how you're feeling. Coming back to your breath, slowing it down, finding that pause between postures. So nice. We're going to make our way back to chair pose. This time I'm going to bring my feet together. We're going to take a twisted chair. So if you'd like to begin to sink your hips, or maybe the feet are just slightly apart, the arms maybe extend up this time. Find that same posture in the low back, drawing the tailbone down, navel pulling in. And then we'll exhale, bring hands to heart center and do a little lean forward. And this is where the feet might come together. We'll bring the left elbow outside the right knee and press your palms. And I want you to twist the torso, but I'm going to keep my gaze down. So you can kind of see where your knees go. You want them to stay in the same spot. Maybe the hips sink a little lower. So often we come to this pose, we always twist and look to the right. The knees go everywhere, all over the place. Not that that's a bad thing, but when you pull the right hip back, it doesn't get so deep into the twist. One more breath. Inhale back to center. Perhaps you even straighten the legs between sides. And then we'll sink back into our chair. And then we'll twist to your left, right elbow to the outside of your left knee. And here I've got my gaze already turning. I'm going to bring it back down and check my knee position. Maybe the hands aren't quite at heart center. That's okay. Just feeling that nice stretch across the back, the shoulder, the torso, the abdomen, the obliques. One more breath. Inhale, come back to center. And then straighten the legs, let the arms float up and let them float back down. Pause. Wonderful. We're going to step into the center of your mat. I'm going to spin to face you. If you'd like some blocks or support for Malasana, go ahead and grab those. Let your feet come wide, toes out, and we'll sink into our squat. And if you have knee pain, just use your wall, all right, as a little support for your bum, and then get as low as feels comfortable for you. So you can take this pose with the wall, and I actually really like that version. If you have the space and the flexibility, come all the way down. And what happens to me is I feel like I turn into a little turtle when I come down. So let's all embrace that turtle shape around your spine, and then walk your fingertips forward. Let your gaze come down. Stretch through the back. Wonderful. Bring hands to heart center. Now I'm going to lengthen my spine. My heels automatically lift up. That's just where they need to go. If I had a blanket, it's over there. I didn't grab it today, but you can place that under your heels. You can even fold up your mat, so I can grab my mat here, fold it up, give myself a little support that way. It feels pretty good. 3 more breaths. Think about pressing into your knees, palms towards heart center, lengthen your spine. If it's just not happening, grab a block or 2, place them under your seat. Let's take one more nice big breath in and out. And then release your hands down. Let the mat flop open. Let's straighten the legs nice and wide here. We can even bring them out wider, parallel the feet. Take a nice easy wide leg forward fold. Walking the hands back, perhaps. I love to grab my ankles in this pose. You can even do a little bend of the knees side to side. Sometimes that feels good, or just bend the knees in general. One more breath. Exhale, let it go. Bring your hands back under your shoulders, and then we're going to walk them forward. Like we're in this really wide leg down dog. Let the weight shift into your hands a little bit. Love this pose. Feels so good in my body. Walk yourself back to center. We're going to spin to the top of your mat if you need to spin. Otherwise, we're all going to come to pigeon pose. So I'm going to heel toe my right foot over to the left side of the mat, lower my right knee down, and then tuck my back toes and kind of scooch that left knee back. And then when I feel like I'm in a good stretch, untuck the toes. And this is one of my favorite spots for a cushion, a bolster under the hip, even a block. All right. That block's a little bit tall for me. I'm going to grab my couch pillow here and place it right under my right hip. And it's just such a good support. So if you have a cushion nearby and want to take that version, go for it. And then lengthen through your spine before lowering down. Feel that length on the left hip. And then option to lower down. You can bring forearms to the ground, forearms to your blocks, or you can lower your head all the way down, extending your arms forward. And if you're dumping into your right hip, can you bring a little bit more weight to the left side, and that'll increase the stretch on the right hip. And if you're one of those people like pigeon is my enemy, please just lie on your back and take a reclined figure 4. And people in class yesterday, I really wanted them to take a reclined figure 4 because they clearly couldn't get into this pose in a way that was comfortable. but they didn't. So everyone's got their own practice, but there's no reason to feel like you have to do what I'm doing. It's better to get the benefit of the stretch than be uncomfortable and awkward in a pose. One more breath in. Exhale out your mouth, let it go. Wonderful. Slowly come on up. Come out. You can either come to a dog or tabletop. Swing that right leg around and then just pedal it out. You can even lift the right leg and kind of give it some hip circles. Shake it out, let it go. Feels good, right? Shake it out. We'll take that to the other side. So coming to pigeon, I'm going to lift my left leg high, spin my hip open, and then swing it around. You can take tabletop and just bring the left foot around. And once again, left knee outside, left wrist. Walk your right knee back. If you've got your cushion, go ahead and place it under the left hip. Untuck the toes as you feel like you're in more full expression of this pose, and then stay with your heart lifted for a moment. Feel that stretch on your abdominal wall. And then next exhale, slowly lower down, forearms, forehead. You can use your blocks once again. Relax your gaze down. And just notice the action that's happening in your body. Is there cooling, or does this pose make you sweat? There are times when I can come into this, my hips are so tight, it is the most uncomfortable thing. So I have to sort of play with like coming up and lowering, and that's okay. Like if you need to extend or you need to dump a little bit into your left hip to take some pressure off, you can. If you need that block under your left hip to take some pressure off, you can use that. Just another breath or so. See if you can release tension from your outer left hip, left glute. Let it go, sigh it out your mouth. Beautiful. We're going to release our down dog. So once again, press up onto the hands. You can either come to tabletop and sway it out, or just take a simple down dog. Lift that left leg, shake it out, do your hip circles, whatever you need. And then let's lower down onto hands and knees if you're not there already. And spin around to a seat. Extending the legs forward. You can move flesh out from underneath. Flexing through your toes, getting nice and strong in your legs for just a moment. Press your palms down, lift your heart. Staff pose. We'll move into a nice easy forward fold, extending your arms up as you inhale, stretch. Exhale, feel your navel scoop back, reach for your toes, and then relax down. Keeping a little flexion in your toes, all right? The legs are not totally passive. Inhale, lift your heart and lengthen, and exhale, fold. And if you can grab your toes or your feet and you want to, go for it. Inhale, lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Feel your navel pull back. Make a little space. And now let's release the feet. Bend the knees, round your spine, and if you have the space, bring your arms underneath your knees. Release your low back. Relax the toes down. You're in this sort of hunched in shell shape. This is one of my favorite poses to stretch the low back. It's a nice stretch along all those muscles, all the erector spinae muscles along your spine, into your lumbar, down into your sciatic. Beautiful. Let's lift your gaze. Slowly come on up. We're going to take a nice slow lower down onto our backs. This is our tiny bit of core work, so extend the arms forward. Scoop your navel in, feel that engage, and then slowly lower. You can go slow as you like. And if you don't want to go at all, just lower down. And then we'll take a nice full body stretch. Extend the toes long. Extend your arms overhead. Let's grab for opposite elbows. And then just let them rest above you. Let the toes relax. They can even splay out. As we make our way into Shavasana, just a final few moments. And it might feel nice to sort of switch the grip, grabbing the funky way. Once again, grabbing for your elbows. And let the arms come overhead and just relax. And release the arms. And this is your call for any final pose. So maybe that's just hugging the knees into the chest and doing a little rock side to side. Or perhaps just a little windshield wiper of the knees, kind of side to side. Maybe a happy baby or spinal twist is calling to you. Just tuning in and saying, what do I need in this moment? And take it. 3 breaths to play. And then making your way into your Shavasana, we'll do a short meditation as always today. So I hope you can stay for the meditation. If you want to stay in your Shavasana for meditation, by all means do. If coming to a seat is calling to you, just gently make your way onto one side and press up. And we will take our brief meditation together. And let's start by just tuning into how you feel in this moment. Doing a little check-in, comparing to how you started in that easy seat. And if you need to take a few little wiggles, movements to settle in, do that by all means. And then check in with yourself. How is the physical body feeling? How is your energetic body feeling? Maybe you're more balanced right now. How is the mental body feeling? Have the thoughts begun to slow at all? Are you feeling more present? And if you're not, that's okay. We all have those days where the mind just doesn't want to settle. If that's the case, return to your breath. The breath is always there. It's there to support you. If you happen to be seated, you can even bring in a few cooling breaths like we started. Or even lying down, perhaps. I don't know. Give it a try. And then let's begin to draw our awareness to the heart center. If you want to place a hand there, that might feel nice. That might help you bring your awareness to that space. And this is right in the center of your chest. This is our energetic heart, not the physical heart. So right in the middle. See if you can feel that little light begin to flicker, like a little flame. This is where our soul resides, right in the center of us. That flame slowly begins to grow. And to help it grow, begin to think of What brings you joy in this world? What things do you enjoy, whether it's an action or simply sitting still or being in nature, being with friends? Like, what lights you up? What's going to make this flame grow a little bit bigger? And begin to feel that energy grow in your heart space. This flame begins to grow larger. And it's a nice cooling flame, so it's not hot. It's not burning away. It's expanding this beautiful heart space. So maybe this has a different color for you. Now begin to think of who you love most in this world, in this life, past, present, and feel that beautiful expansion of the flame in your body, moving up now, moving down. And this beautiful, loving light begins to grow beyond your body. Feeling it radiate out of your heart space. Now envisioning for a moment as if you had no body. You are just this beautiful energy of loving light. Perhaps you even see the body fall away as your light expands and becomes this beautiful, sparkling energy of light. This is you. This is the real you. This is your consciousness, your awareness, your spirit. Not just releasing the physical body. Can you release the mental body? Can you release the thoughts? The ego, the things our brains tell us all the time that often get in the way of our connection to self. Imagining just for this moment that it doesn't exist. You are this beautiful, beautiful energy of light. Seeing it change and transform, shapes, colors even. What does this energy look like to you? And perhaps you even begin to fall away. And your energy grows and expands, and then you begin to see the lights of all the loved ones around you. Without the body, without the ego, just feeling their love and their light. As if there's little stars lighting up all over the sky. And as your energy grows, their energy grows, and the light of all consciousness begins to grow. You see more and more lights of all beings light up around you. And as your lights grow, you realize that they merge and they become one. This beautiful, pure consciousness. Feeling the connection. Feeling the transformation of self. taking these next 3 breaths to just bask in this beautiful light. And as you're ready, bringing your light back down to your physical self, feeling it move back into your heart space. And sending cords down from your feet into the earth to once again ground yourself down. Like roots of a tree spreading and going deeper and deeper and deeper, anchoring yourself to the core of the earth. And feeling your loving, beautiful light in your heart space, and knowing that that flame is always there, that light is always within you. You can tap into it anytime, whenever you need it. Deepening your breath. Begin to make small movements with fingers and toes. Gradually making larger movements, moving wrists and ankles. Perhaps taking a nice full body stretch if you're lying down, or even if you're sitting, extending the arms up. Hugging your knees in, making your way onto one side. Setting your intention before coming all the way up to a seat. And what is your intention for the rest of this beautiful day? Feeling that in your heart space. And then pressing yourself up to a seat as you're ready. We'll close our practice together with the sound of Om. Big inhale. Om. Sending yourself love and gratitude for showing up for you today. Sending your love and gratitude to all of those practicing around the world together today. And sending your love and gratitude to all beings. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy and live freely, and may our practice in some way, shape, or form aid and help all those around the world to come together in this beautiful community of love and transformation. Thank you so much for your presence and practice today. Namaste. All right, thank you so much for joining me. I'll come up in just a moment and read comments. This might be my last practice for a little while on Insight Timer. I'm taking a little pause and hiatus, so please follow me on Insight Timer, and then you'll see when the next one is posted. I'm just not sure when that is, so I'm just going to press a little pause for now and regroup and figure out when I'll be back. I will definitely miss you all in this community. You can always feel free to message me, and I'm sure I will be doing things again. It's just a matter of when and what that looks like, so I did want to let you know that. You can also follow me on YouTube. I do have a channel there. If you go to my bio on Insight Timer, there's a link to my link tree with all my things. You can get to my YouTube, my website, my podcast, which I haven't done June's episode. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. We'll see. It'll get done eventually. But yeah, just with all the summer activity, I've decided to sort of slow down myself, take some time for self-love and self-care. And I do appreciate you all being here today. So thank you so much. And I will come up and check the comments.